It's camp season, and we're going back to looking at the Titans and getting another look at Cam Ward. We're going to watch him throw the ball around, work through some drills and everything else. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're looking at rookie camp clips, OTA clips, mini camp clips, soon to be training camp workouts in between and everything else. If you want to know what your rookies and your vets are doing behind the scenes, click that button. Stop missing out. We've been doing this for years. This isn't a new thing. Cam Ward, we're going to start off. We got some OTA clips with the vets, throwing a ball to Ridley, and then I also got the rookie camp clips in there. I showed them before, but hey, we're talking ball. We're watching them throw. We're watching some football here. It's May. There we are downfield. There we are. There we are. Ridley's coming up soon. He's got a few new ones. The clips from all these NFL teams from OTAs have been very limited, but we are getting, there he is. There's Ward right there. There he is. Very excited. That's leadership, though. That's leadership. Just having fun on the field. What? There we are. Boom. Getting it out. Right there we are. There we are to the big guy. To Ridley. Watch the feet here. Now we're getting back to rookie camp. Watch the feet, though. Watch the feet here. Good feet in the pocket. Makes sense. We play off platform a lot. We throw off platform. We change our base a lot to adjust while things are going on in the pocket. Fast mental processor. Getting it out there. Boom. A few days ago, I don't have this clip in there, but I went over it on the channel anyways. There was a clip of him. It was like a half-second clip and then a half-second clip of Will Levis merged together with some other players. And social media try to pit that as kind of like a camp battle. There's no battle. I've been saying this. There's no battle. Will Levis is not in the same stratosphere as Cam Ward. It's just not. If I'm a Titans fan, I heard that. And if you're questioning what you got at quarterback, because it's been weird with the media and these quarterbacks this year. But Ward's in a different stratosphere compared to Will Levis. Let's look at this in simple terms. Cam Ward transferred up because he kept leveling up. Levis had to transfer out from Penn State because he wasn't being productive at Penn State. We couldn't say he was leveling up there. And we go to Kentucky. We saw Ward here. FCS level, we ball out. We go to Washington State, we ball out. We go to Miami, we ball out. Going to different programs, different parts of the country, different coaching staffs, learning new coaching staffs, new systems, and then just making it happen. Showing leadership. And I watched all his interviews because I did a video on him, Shadur. I did one on Travis Hunter. I did one on Ashton Jeanty and a few other players where I collaborated all their interviews. And I had to discard the ones I couldn't put in the videos. But everything I could get on social media, I had to watch again, edit, and I can definitely tell you this about Cam Ward. And I might be able to tell you this more than some of these NFL teams because I had to sit through that. He is a very composed dude in an interview to the point that he's very mature. He's a very stoic person. Very stoic, not going to rattle. You're not going to get him off course. He knows the plan of attack. He knows what he needs to do. And you're not going to rattle him and get him to start cussing people or anything like that. You're just not. You're just not. He is a focused individual. He's focused on the goal. That is what you're getting with Cam Ward. That is what you're getting. You may see that with some of the other clips. You might have a good indication of that. Kind of like if you look at the clip with him and Shadur asked him if we want to do a song together or something. And he goes, hey, I'm just here to play football or however. If you go in and look at 100 interviews like I did, you'll see it just keep coming out. It just keep coming out. Like, it's for real. It ain't messing around. It ain't messing around. From the FCS days, high school days, and now. You're seeing a good quarterback here. Fast mental processor. Very mature. He's went through a lot to get here. The odds were stacked against him. Like, you go to the FCS level, how many quarterbacks in the league are from the FCS level? Now think about all the other quarterbacks from the FCS level. All of them. Let alone getting drafted. How many FCS quarterbacks got drafted this year versus last year? He moved up. He did well. He moved up again. He is always looking for a challenge. If not, he could have just stayed at Washington State. If not, he could have just went out for the draft last year. Because he was good enough to go out for the draft last year. Would have been definitely later in draft capital. That's a studly quarterback class. Plus, you had that Washington State on the resume. Not yet to Miami. Had another year to develop. Just smart, mature, poised, patient. Just knew. Went to the right school for him. There he is. Good feet. Good feet. And it's not like he was playing with any top-tier wide receivers going to the NFL. He played with some good players, some good college caliber players. But it's not like any of his wide receivers got drafted in the top 5. His running back didn't get drafted on day 2. His running back went late day 3, which I like. I can't say anything bad about Damian Martinez. He's one of my guys. But you start looking at all that. You start looking at that, and we get to Miami last year. We're in the middle of the season, and everybody's saying, Miami's back. Miami's back. And it's because this guy. It's because of this guy. The media didn't know what to do with him. It wasn't a big name at Washington State. It wasn't a big name at the FCS level. We have 1 year at Miami. And then you had Shedeur Sanders there. You had the hoopla with that in the media. They didn't know what to do with him. Is he up there with like the Jaden Daniels, the Caleb Williams? I think we're a little bit lesser than that when it comes to... But I think we are at a status here where he's vastly underrated in terms of talent, in terms of anticipation, field vision, getting the ball out, making plays happen. I think we're vastly underrated. I think the biggest question is, can we build this depth chart around him? Because if you can build the depth chart around him, and we can get some dogs, especially at the wide receiver position, just get at least a dog, maybe even like a top 15-ish wide receiver that's coming out for the draft that ends up being a top 15 guy, a young Hoss wide receiver that's steady. And we keep the slew of running backs and we build on that. I think you're going to see something out of him. I think you're definitely going to see something out of him. Like, everyone's quiet on Cam Ward. First player off the board over Abdullah and Hunter. That's saying something at the quarterback position. They needed a quarterback bad. Will Levis isn't going to battle him. It's not. It's not. It ain't happening. Will Levis is not going to battle him. It's not going to be in the cards. Will Levis is never going to be a starting quarterback again in the NFL. It's over for him. He'll be a backup, a journeyman backup, and that's it for his career. And maybe not for long at that. I think this year's draft produced a lot of good backup quarterbacks. A lot of good backup quarterbacks. But you're looking at Cam Ward here that I believe the media just did not know what to do with him. 2 years at Washington State, which they didn't watch. A year at the FCS level, of course they didn't watch. And we got 1 year at Miami. And I don't think they watch college ball like they've been doing, the big-time media. Especially you go to NFL Network. You look at that Kyle Brandt guy. Kyle Brandt. You'd want to know his resume? I'm talking all kinds of ball today. I'll keep doing it if you're still listening. Let me know if you're still listening in comments. I want to know. But Kyle Brandt, the blonde-head guy on the NFL. Listen to his resume. He was on, like, Road Rules. And then he was on soap operas. And then we get on Jim Rome, but we're like a producer or something. So it's not like you're like us and we're watching these players, we're studying ball. You're like a producer trying to get things together. We work through the system with that. And you know what? We work up the network. We work up the chain. We work up the game of politics on the media side. And that's how we get there. So, and there's a lot of people like that, and that's why it's kind of like weird on the media, and they're trying to play you the big stories. And then when you get a quarterback like this, who goes to Washington State for a few years, multiple 3,000-yard seasons, top quarterback, top player in the transfer portal. Everybody who monitors the transfer portal last year were like, whoa, Cam Ward, I want him on my team. We want him on the Buckeyes. We want this, we want that. And everybody was watching him. And Damian Martinez, too. They both go to Miami. They threw the money at him. That's one thing that can be stated. They also got good weather down there. It's a good place to be at. But still, that was never mentioned. How heavily courted he was in the transfer portal. because they're not into the ball like that. You're talking to big media outlets. And if he was like at a big program, if he was at Miami for 3 or 4 years, yes, he probably got that push. He probably would have got that media push. We were also spoon-fed that it's a bad quarterback class, which it is. It's an easy thing to say, though, and it's an easy thing to bet against quarterbacks. Because it's not just the quarterback. It's like how you build around them. It's the coaching staff, change assist. There's so many variables. So many. That it's easier to bet against a quarterback during draft season. No one's going to pull it up. No one's going to look it out. No one's going to look at the potential and talk about the potential too much. Cam Ward is a stud quarterback prospect. Titans are legit. Titans got a legit prospect. The big question is, can they build around him? Can they build around him? If they can't build around him, he might be just a good quarterback on a bad team that we're like, But if we can build around him, we can optimize him. We can get him some opportunity here, and maybe we can get some production. Maybe Tennessee can be back. Maybe that can happen. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Well, thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.